When we left Gearing, 20 miles west of Paris, we proceeded with Patton up the northwest coast of Europe. And we went through Belgium from one end to the other, and we went through Holland from one end to the other, and had some interesting experiences there. Well, we got to the northern tip of Holland, and it was getting cold. And we knew that the winter offensive would not be possible. It was just too cold, too muddy. The dikes could be opened in Holland, and all the areas flooded and turned to ice. So it was clear, if you had a military mind, that we would have to stop for the winter and then pick up the offensive again in the spring. And so we sent up an encampment just opposite the town of Aachen, which was going to be the first town in Germany that we attacked and captured. The winter reached temperatures of 20 or 30 below. We had warm clothing. We had been well supplied. We had problems with our feet. If they got wet, trench foot could set in. Many feet were amputated because of that. And at worst, you limped for a long, long time. We were lucky. We got fresh socks, we got fresh shoes, and we had winter coats and jackets that were pretty warm. We were in a barracks that had heat. We had no complaints at all. And then suddenly we got an order for headquarters company, Company A and B, to return to Bastogne. There was absolutely no sense in returning to Bastogne. We'd left the town in very competent hands. They and the rest of the front were fully prepared, we thought, for a winter cessation of hostilities to be begun again in the spring. So there was a great air of relaxation, no expectation of any counterattack from the Germans because they would have these harsh winter conditions to hamper them. When we got back to Bastogne, we set up headquarters on the main street and a forward observer post in the Duchy, the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. And I shuttled back and forth between our headquarters in Bastogne and our forward observer post. Now, in each of these trips, my dog Mickey accompanied me. We would go into Bastogne. He would leave me for a while and figured he had a girlfriend there. But as soon as I was ready to leave, he appeared on the site and went back with me. It was during this lull that the Germans carried out the counterattack which Hitler had planned for quite a while. Many of his generals opposed it. They knew winter was coming on. They knew that the Americans had been reinforced tremendously. They had great respect for Eisenhower's ability and for Patton's, who by now was back in action. And so they were totally opposed to a counteroffensive. But Hitler was headstrong. He had a belief in his own divinity as well as his brilliance as a military commander. And he said, this is what it will be. And he picked the day for it. And on that day, which was December 16th, the Germans counterattacked with a tremendous force, much greater than we could contain. The Americans and the British and their allies were stretched out over a front line of 1,200 miles. There's no way we could cover that effectively. So there were holes all along it. And the German troops were well aware of this, and they attacked through the Ardennes forest, which was very poor for defense and excellent from their point of view. They mustered a tremendous number of tanks, of jeeps, of trucks, of artillery divisions, and they attacked in such force that they immediately broke through almost every defense that we could set up. At the time, the Germans had some Tiger tanks, which had a range of 20 miles or so, whereas the American tanks were lucky if they could hit something in 8 miles, and then the shell couldn't penetrate the armor. Where at 20 miles, the Tiger tank shell would reach and destroy an American tank. So that was a constant danger. There was slaughter, there was confusion. I would say that was mainly the descriptor for what was going on in the American line. Confusion. Communications with higher headquarters had been cut off from our outfit and many others. Many of the outfits were run by Signal Corps people, Air Force people, who knew nothing about military tactics and did not know what to do in the face of a frontal assault. And so everybody who could left Bastogne. There was one road going west from the main center of town, which became absolutely clogged, and MPs had to be called to break up the log jams.